Krishan, first of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And the reason I mentioned, or reason I'm sure expressing my gratitude, because I am here to uh, take you through my journey, and that journey is very close to my heart. And whenever I get the opportunity to explain my journey or tell people about exploration of my journey about the mash biochar and the every learning that I have gone through. It is a joy and excitement, and also it is one of the way of recovering myself because I get to get like, there is it's a diversion also from my whatever the physical health is there. I get mental peace through this. So good evening from my end. I know we all are sitting across the globe, so we do have a different time zone, but in India, it's evening time. So, good evening, all of you. The crux of my topic for today is biochar impact on sustainable farming, unlocking drought resilience. Though it is the crux of the topic. Mm, okay, wait, one, not moving.
Again, not moving.
Mm, something, mm, let's try this. Yeah. So, though this is the crux of my topic, the real thing that I really want to share with you guys is the journey to that crux. And I am constantly emphasizing on my journey because for you to understand what I have explored, what I discovered, and what I learned with MASH Biochar, it is really essential for you all to know my background. So I am Dr. Priyanka Sathe, working as head of biochar fertilizer research in MASH. But that is not only my identity. There is background to me to coming to this position or this platform. I belong to a agrarian family, an agrarian family situated in the global south, where we have adversely affected by the climate change. And when I say that we have adversely affected by the climate change, we experience three at least three drought in 10 year. That much frequency or that much recurrent drought that we are experiencing over here. And just for you to have better understanding of it, how much difficult time we are facing because of the climate change, I will give you an example. There was a time when I was child, we have experienced drought for 3 consecutive year, and having drought for 3 consecutive year means we did not have drinkable water. So drinking water was a luxury to us, and the same region most of the people are dependent on the agriculture. So for me, that is my family partially, and my whole relatives and community are completely dependent on agriculture for their bread and butter. So in such a situation, when we don't have a drinkable water, it was very difficult to have any water available for the agriculture. So we could not have our bread and butter cultivated through our agricultural land. So even though we do have a land, the cultivable land is shrinking, and we are finding it very difficult to survive. So I was questioning myself what I can do best, because I got one luxury with that is that my helped me to study further, explore my curious brain, and I got an opportunity to study further. But still, I was not finding the way to solve the problem that my community, which is very close to my heart, is facing. So that was a something that I could do with drought, or maybe something with the agricultural soil. And that opportunity I got in during my PhD. uh, During my PhD, I made a very cautious choice of choosing biochar as a PhD topic, understanding or knowing the impact and potential of biochar into the soil or into the agriculture. So, in during my PhD, I got an opportunity to use the various feedstock. I scrutinized 4 different feedstock at various production parameter, and did produce biochar, and try to understand the application of that biochar. Once I finished my PhD, I entered into the world of MASH. even though the commodity is the same, but there was a huge scale difference in these two different world. Here I was producing biochar at 30-gram scale, and there I was introduced to a mash where we do have a SPV, that is a production unit of mash, which has a production capacity of a 7,000 ton per year. So I was first awestruck to get to know that the production capacity of Biochar, that is one, it was completely highly industrialized, highly high throughput, with one constant feedstock coming up, and very regulated process, which was giving rise to industrial scale biochar. So my curious mind was not only awestruck, but I started asking question that what must be lying in this biochar. Before I joined MASH, there was not much research has done on the MASH biochar. So I had whole horizon for me that to explore and to understand biochar in every possible way that I can make suitable its suitable use for the agriculture. So I started doing some lab studies of on the biochar, studied biochar and soil dynamics. Then I moved. Once I started this journey, I understood with every step. I challenged or questioned the experiment and the result, and that challenge and the question gave rise to new step and new exploration and new learning. So with from moving to lab scale, we moved to the pot trial and field trial, which is in control condition, just to understand how biochar will behave with the plants and how it will help them to grow. Once we understood that behavior of biochar is positive and significant in the control condition for the plant growth, the next step was taking that biochar to the real world. And when it comes to taking that biochar to the real world, it is essential to work with real world farmer who actually have all the challenges that has been given by the nature and the which is coming as a part and parcel of a global warming as well. So we took our biochar to the real world farmer through NGO and FPO, and I will tell you why we had to go through NGO and FPO. Once we started this real world farming with the farmers, we began with season after season, because what I understood while unfolding this journey and potential of biochar, that it is really essential. It is not only essential to know the potential of biochar, but it is also essential to understand long term benefit of biochar that can only be understood or explored by multi season trials. And that was also major crux of this exploration journey. And through that I tried to understood the long term impact of biochar. Problem was that there was a drought. The solution was that there is need of something that will help to have a drought resilience to soil and plant. And then I had to come up with the right kind of a benefit from that biochar, which can be taken up and scaled up to commercial levels, so that most of the farming community for whom I actually started working will get benefited. So let's get along with me through this journey. So coming to the mash biochar, mash biochar, when I got introduced, as I mentioned, I knew that there is a very constant feedstock, which is cashew shell residue that we are using as a biochar for the biochar production. So this was an industrial scale, which is very controlled condition. But the question was how this biochar will behave in real world condition. And with this, because again, the major crux and major importance or major focus for me was application of biochar into the agriculture. So I really had to understand all the parameters of biochar. I had to question everything that about the biochar, study its dynamics with the soil, and then take it to the real world condition. So before we enter into the main journey, I would like to tell you about background of the MASH. So MASH Mix is an Indo-Danish company. Its headquarters is situated in Copenhagen, and its Indian headquarters is situated in Mumbai, where actually I have also been placed. What we do is that we convert agriculture residue into the more sustainable product. When I say more sustainable product, that products are bio oil, hydrogen for the electricity, and biochar. And biochar is the highlight of today's presentation. So biochar help us to capture the CO2 from the atmosphere, which has been trapped by the process of photosynthesis, and it does have a great potential, and everyone know by now this biochar has a great potential as a soil additive, which has uh, capacity and potential to improve the crop yield and the performance. Uh, and this picture that I am showing on the screen is this is the SPV unit that is located in the south part of India in the Karnataka place called Udupi. Here we do have a production capacity of 7,000 ton per year, and many more ESPV like this in the pipeline. MASH holds the potential to actually sequester gigaton of carbon in upcoming years. So once my journey with MASH biochar and learning with MASH biochar started, I started to study biochar at the lab level, try to understand the scanning electron microscopic picture of biochar, whether how much biochar is porous in its nature, try to understand the FTIR, that is functional group present on the biochar surface. I studied crystalline nature of biochar through the XRD, also tried to understand the surface area, how much surface area is actually available for the reaction or for any kind of a chemical process to happen on the surface of biochar. With this parameter and character study of the biochar, I also tried to study the carbon content, water holding capacity, nutrient content, and bulk density of biochar. So when I mentioned every one step gave took me to closer to the further step, I was mentioning that I studied the water holding capacity of biochar. I studied the water holding capacity of biochar with the clay soil, and I could see that there was only marginal increase in the water holding capacity, and that raised my eyebrows. Why was that the case? That biochar does have a pores, it does have a capacity to drop the water on its surface. Then still, why that was a marginal increase in the water holding capacity? So, and I decided to change the kind of a soil. So to do that, I chose very controlled experiment. And when I say controlled experiment, there are certain experiment that we did were very basic at the pot level into the polyhouse. And there we started with just having various application rate of biochar just to understand biochar will behave positively or negatively with the plant. And to my surprise, biochar actually behaved very positively with the plant for the plant growth, and almost 5 to 10% of biochar application rate was really very positive and giving significant increase in the plant yield. But my question was, why? What happened with the clay soil? Will that same happen with the sandy soil? So what I did is that I tailor made the sandy soil of 80%. And when I say 80%, 80% is not agriculturally suitable soil for the cultivation. And there, what I have unfolded is that I could see biochar has increased 5 times yield than control in case of 80% sandy soil. So that was one of the highlight for me to understand what kind of a potential does this biochar hold. Then we move further with more control trial. And when I say more control trial, they were field trial. For that, we have approached one of the renowned university in the India, where we have collaborated to conduct a controlled field trial. And this is the drone shot of our controlled sunflower field trial. Each row represent the replication, and every row has various treatments. These treatments are randomly placed, that is we call as random block design. And the biochar application rate was 2 ton and 4 ton. With that biochar application rate, we also applied the fertilizer, that is recommended dose of fertilizer that has been given by university. And what we this was completely inorganic farming setup along with the biochar. And what we understood that biochar along with inorganic fertilizer has given increase in the sunflower yield by 8%. But we have did another trick during this experiment, and that trick was we also reduced down the recommended dose of application to 50% from 100%. Just try to understand, can biochar still help plant to grow with lesser amount of fertilizer? And what we have seen that even though there was still marginal decline in the yield, it was on par yield with the fertilizer. But the nitrogen use efficiency of all those plants which has received only 50% of recommended dose of fertilizer has been increased by 42%. That means biochar was very efficiently increasing the nitrogen use efficiency of the sorry, the crop. So now this journey had next step to take is that now we understood the behavior of biochar into the lab with the soil. We understood what happens at the polyhouse. We also understood what happens at the control field trial level. But actually, our aim is to take that biochar to real world condition, real farming condition, and that is for that it is really essential to involve real world farmer who is actually facing a lot many problem when it comes to the agriculture. So for that, we have approached NGO and FPO. And here I would like to highlight why we had to go with this collaborative approach for NGO and FPO. So in India, farming is very conventional practice. It is not easy for farmer to convince any farmers from a Danish company that okay, this is a biochar, this is a really great product, and you should use it, and you will have a benefit out of it. So for that, we have to go and meet those people who are actually very closely related with the farmers, and NGOs and FPOs are very closely associated with the farmers. Here the role of NGO is to provide expertise for the organic farming practices. They develop organic farming practices and they give the technology transfer to the farmers, hence farmers trust NGO a lot. At the same time, when you need to work with group of farmer, FPO plays a very much important role because they do have a structured framework to work with a very wide range of farmers. Hence, we collaborated with NGO and FPO to involve real world local farmers. The objective was to assess the potential of biochar into the existing organic farming. And here, farmer involvement was the key because he was the one who was going to provide the direct insight about the biochar and his real world experience with the biochar. And our goal was to understand whether biochar will complement for existing organic farming or not. So our journey began here for real world farming, and we entered into the season one. The season one was so to highlight everything. To highlight this trial, I would start with this that this trial was conducted into a region called Ambazogai in a state that is a province in India called Maharashtra, and this is a rain shadow region. As I mentioned earlier, we encounter drought after every 2 years. That means there are three drought in a row. Not in a row, but at least three drought in a 10 year of span that we experience. So this is that challenging area that we have chosen for the field trial. We applied the biochar in two application rate, that is 2 ton and 4 ton. And in the first season, we have seen the initial result that with soybean cultivation by applying the biochar, with chickpea cultivation by applying the biochar at 2 ton and 4 ton, we have seen 25% increase in the yield. I was in the cloud nine to understand that, oh my God, biochar really performed really well over here. But my uh, happiness was quite short lived. The reason being there were further challenges involved over here. And the challenge was high cost of biochar because biochar application was bulk. So it has significantly increased the cost of cultivation. At the same time, transportation of biochar was also additive into the cost. And application through labor has further added into the cost of cultivation. So farmer was not really very happy even though there was a increase in the yield. Another thing is that though the crop was growing organically, the food that is grown in India, even organically, is at a quite subsidized price. So there is no immediate financial return that has been benefited to the farmers. So farmer was hesitant and was unsure about short-term return from this investment on the biochar. So I had to just wait, because I know one thing for sure that biochar whole potential, it will improve soil. And this is not only a one season journey. I still have to fold many more seasons that are coming. So we waited for just to understand long-term benefit of the biochar. And with that, we entered into the season two of our journey. So season two and three had mixed, amazing but mixed result. And when I say but, there is challenge involved over here as well. So what we discovered in the season two and what are the challenges that we experienced into this is that we were in the journey of understanding the long-term impact of biochar, but I knew that somewhere I know that drought was, we will encounter the drought. The only thing that I did not knew that we will encounter the drought that very next season. And we encountered very severe drought for whole span of an year. So that was very much big challenge for us. Biochar has been applied only at the season one, and then after we have decided that we will not apply the biochar because we needed to know and unfold the long term effect of biochar. So crop for the second season was soybean. Even though there was a severe drought, what we saw that there was 110% increase in the yield by 4 ton of biochar application and 60% increase in the yield by 60% of by 2 ton of biochar application. So it was put very clear, the picture was very clear that biochar enhanced drought resilience. But was that enough? No, not yet, because we had to again move to season 3. The season 3 was Rabi, a winter season where we have cultivated chickpea. In general, we have a rain-fed cultivation, and we receive major rainfall in the Kharif season, that was the soybean season. The chickpea season was a winter season where we will hardly receive some rainfall, and there we did not receive rainfall at all. I remember my conversation with the farmer at the farm, because when I made a visit to the farm at that time, farmer were so disappointed that he mentioned that we might not even recover the cost of cultivation that has been involved for the chickpea cultivation. Mash offered all kind of a aid to him that can we do anything to irrigate the crop and still see some effect, but there was no groundwater available to irrigate the crop. So even though we offered the help, there was no use of that help. So we just waited to get the data, and what we saw is that there was 15% increase in the yield when we applied the biochar than the control. And this was again lower than the previous season. Biochar actually performed, but it performed like it underperformed compared to the previous season. So there was a major concern about long term benefit of a biochar, and also stability of data and yield data that we are receiving, because then it is really essential for the data was really essential for farmers to get convinced that biochar is beneficial for them. So what we were really needed most is that very optimum and very ideal season to to unfold the biochar's potential further. And now in our journey we entered season 4. So season 4 helped. In the season 4, nature worked in our favor, and we received really good rainfall, and biochar benefits started unfolding. The crop was soybean again. We had good rainfall and at right time condition. And when I say right time condition, that means at vegetative stage and flowering stage. And what we have seen is the remarkable result, because this was ideal condition. The weather was ideal, the rainfall was ideal, and we have seen that 56% increase in the yield with 70% increase in the farmers' income. Obviously, we all were so excited to see the result and the unfolding journey of biochar's potential. The key takeaway was that biochar certainly improved the yield, but that did not come just by one season. It took time for biochar to perform with its because initially nutrient content from the biochar has been used, but the major carbon started to play role in forthcoming season, like upcoming the season after from second season onward, and that was very significantly visible and evident in the season 4. So it was certainly very clear that soil health improved and biochar was starting to sustain its long term benefit. Now we wanted to move to the next step by scaling up the biochar application to have more impact about the biochar. So we moved to scale up the biochar or apply the biochar on the larger scale. So this is actually the helicopter view of 4 different seasons. So this started over here, season 1, 2, 3, and 4, where this is a chickpea, rabi season, soybean, again chickpea and soybean. And you can see there is a trend, increasing trend into the yield. And now as we unfold our next steps, we are into commercial discussion about the biochar application, where we are actually already entered into an agreement where we are going to conduct the large scale trial of biochar by applying 100 tons of biochar on 25 farms. So 25 different farmer will be involved, and these farmers will be given incentive to cooperate to us to collect the data. We will have different soil type, different crop type, and various data from all these farms for 3 long years, that is 6 different seasons. And this is that we are aiming to have a wider impact of biochar. We also have started discussion around the contract farming, and we I am very positive that maybe in upcoming kharif season, that is in the June season, we will enter into a contract farming agreement. But the farming agreement that we are doing over here is something that should be really beneficial for the farmers as well. So we are introducing pay as you go model, into which biochar will be given to the farmer at no cost at the beginning, and then after that they will see the effect of biochar by themselves, because we will advise them to have a control plot just to for them to visibly see the effect of biochar and see the increase in the yield. And if they see the increase in the yield, we are welcoming them to pay back the biochar price through the EMI and with some interest rate whenever they are getting the increase in the yield. And also, we do have an option of no cure, no pay. If there is no profit or no yield increase because of any kind of a drastic weather event, they will really don't have to pay for that season any EMI and profit. So far, we have conducted, or we have data from 20 field trial, and that is almost showing very promising impact of biochar. But still, it is difficult to quantify the exact number in the form of data, because every trial differ from the other trial in the form of crop, geographical location, and soil. So what is really essential for one to understand biochar in a better way is the multi-season trial. We are also conducting the LCA analysis of biochar just to understand the social and environmental benefit of biochar to the farmers. So as I reach close to my end to as I approaching end to end to my presentation, I have taken you through my journey of learning and exploration of my mash biochar. But this is just beginning. Like, from beginning, I have reached over here, and this journey will continue, because I know there is much thing that has been still lying there into the biochar that I still have to unfold. That is like trying to develop fertilized based out of a biochar by using different kind of a soil additive, just to have additive effect from both of them. I'm also trying to incorporate biochar into the regenerative farming, so that, because biochar incorporation comes up with the tillage operation, and tillage will leave you carbon footprint, and I am trying to minimize that carbon footprint. So I my next agenda is to incorporate biochar into the regenerative farming in a right way, so that there will be minimum tillage involved. As I started with telling you the background of me, telling about the community that I come from, that is the farmer community. So I want to really complete the full circle. And to complete that full circle, the MASH is helping us, or MASH is helping me to have a drive of awareness program among the farmers, to show them a demonstration trial, to educate them and on the field, to distribute the biochar for free as a freebie, so that they will understand the importance of biochar and significance of biochar. We are also visiting various exhibition and seminar, where we are making aware to the farmers and scientific community about the biochar, because this research is not there to stay in the research paper, but this research is there for the applied reason, and we really want to make a difference with this research for the community that needed it the most. To conclude my presentation, it is proven fact that biochar has a significant increase in the yield with improved soil health, and that's why we could see drought resilience. Real world collaboration helped us to transit from lab scale to the larger scale, and now we are involving more stakeholders and taking it to the commercial level. So the key outcome is that it is really essential for one to completely unfold the importance of biochar or the potential of biochar to have multi-season insight, and this multi-season will give you all the understanding at the difficult season and the understanding at the ideal season as well. The season 4 was the highlight of this journey, where we have seen 56% yield increase and 70% in return in income, and which actually farmers was also very happy to get the benefit of. So now we are moving to the commercial level with first a larger scale trial for the MRV, and also entering into the contract farming with our unique pay as you go model. Then we are also, as I mentioned earlier, we are also trying to analyze the impact of biochar and the livelihood of farmers, so that can they do have a increased income? Can they reduce down the fertilizer application? Can the reduced fertilizer application have a positive impact of environment? So that study we also have started in continuation. But this exploration journey will still continue. So far, what I have taken you through is my journey of learning, which will continue, and I will come, and I promise you guys that I will come up with few further more potential that can be actually translated to the real world and to the community which actually need the help most during the era of global warming in the global south. This is our various field trial that we are conducting at various location on various field crops. We do have developed our own wiki, and we do have a way of our maintaining all the data, record data of the trials. Thank you for hearing me out, and extremely sorry if I have taken extra 5 or 5 minutes. Yeah, you can
Thank,
ask me any question if you have.
thank you very much, Bianca. That is a very impressive field trials there, and very interesting to see your pay-as-you-go system. I think that's great. You got some questions, so we have to run a bit through the questions now. Um, so can you repeat what was the dose of biochar applied per acre?
The biochar application rate was 2 ton and 4 ton.
And did you charge the biochar before application or just as a raw
Yeah.
uncharged?
So in this organic farming setup, we are applying biochar along with the organic manure and biofertilizer.
Okay. And did you just mix it or did you do anything else? Or did you
Yeah.
co-apply it or did you do, yeah,
In this case, we have co-applied because we did not have enough marginal time to charge it. But whenever we are getting enough window period, because we need at least 2 to 3 week window period to charge the biochar. So whenever we are receiving that window period, we are actually advising to charge the biochar, because
okay.
that we believe is the right way to do application of biochar.
Um, One question was, so how long do you think, or are the field trials ongoing? How long do you think you will see differences?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that we are actually half on in the fifth season already, which is already half done, and we will keep on saying what to say, monitoring this field trial, the same plot for at least till we start seeing any plateau or maybe some decline. So far, we are in the field's fifth season.
Okay. No, that's great. And I really like that you plan co-composting. So I think that will be a very interesting approach, and also the slurry
Yeah, sorry to
co-application.
sorry, I forgot to mention, we co-composted biochar and we have seen 78% increase in the yield when it comes to pot trial.
Yeah, yeah, that it seems logical. So I'm happy to hear again in um, next year about ongoing features. And one question that I think not everyone is aware of: how many seasons do you have in a year?
In India, we do have 2 season, but with the mash biochar, we have attempted something new, which is very innovative. In summer season, we did the vertical farming of the onion in the gunny sacks, which is of very cheap. So we tried to introduce the third season as well, which is ideally not the season actually, but we tried to introduce onion farming in the summer season, which is practically not possible in this region.
Okay, so a lot of stuff for the for your next presentation then.
Yeah.
So I wish you a very good recovery, and I guess you can, if you're around, you can try to answer some of the open questions in the chat.